Sasa juzi wameleta ile mambo yanaitwa GMO. Umesikia? Ati hiyo itazidisha idadi ya chakula katika taifa letu. Hii GMO si kitu mpya. Sasa katika ulimwengu majadiliano yanajua mambo ya GMO imechukua karibu miaka 10 sasa. Nchi mingi ya Ulaya, Ujerumani imekataa. Nchi ya Uholanzi imekataa. Italiano imekataa. Sweden imekataa. Kule nchi zingine Estonia imekataa. Ufaransa imekataa. Yale yote ni nchi ambazo zimeendelea kiusayansi. Umekataa kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu wanahakika ya kwamba itadhuru maisha ya watu yao. Sasa tunasikia wengine ati kanisa nasema hapa ati wanataka kufanya utafiti. Utafiti gani ambaye kanisa ya Kenya itafanya kuliko yale ambayo yamefanyiwa na nchi zile ambazo zimeendelea kisayansi kama Ujerumani? Utafiti gani utafanya hapa? Hii ni takataka. Hii mambo ya GMO mpaka sisi kama Wakenya tuseme tumekataa. Si tumekataa? Tumekataa. Kwa sababu ni kitu ambaye inahatarisha maisha ya wananchi. Hawa vile vile walisema ati watarudisha gharama ya mbolea chini. Sasa wamepewa gharama mbolea bure. Wamepewa ile mbolea wamepewa na Urusi bure. Alafu wanasema sasa wameteremsha bei kutoka 6,000 kwa gunia wamerudi 3,500 kwa gunia. Lakini hiyo mbolea wamepewa bure na Urusi. Nani analipa hiyo 3,500 hiyo? Si wale wenyewe. Lakini hiyo mbolea inakuja wakati ambaye watu tayari wamepanda karibu kuvuna. Kwa hivyo sasa tunasema ati hao watu hawana maslahi ya wananchi kwa roho yao. Ni wale watu ambaye kazi yao tu ni kujifaidisha wao wenyewe peke yao. Sisi tunasema ati Wakenya wametoka mbali. Tunajua pale Wakenya wako wakati huu. Hali ni mbaya. Lakini vile wanasema ati baada ya dhiki ni nini? Faraja. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka kwa nyinyi wanabunge, msikufe moyo. Msikufe moyo. Mimi sijakufa moyo. Hawa wezi ambayo walijaribu kuiba ushindi wetu, siku zao ziko. Kila mwezi iko na siku yake. Sivyo? Siku ya 40 zinakuja. Sinakuja. Siku hii ikifika nyinyi mtaona tu. Si mtaona tu. Si mimi niko hapa. Niko na subira. Kwa hivyo tutaendelea mbele. Mko tayari? Mko tayari?
What is this I'm hearing? Ati Raila Odinga attended the People's Parliament. Bunge la wananchi at Jivanjii Gardens. Ati Raila Odinga mingled with border riders, helped them to pay for fuel because things are so difficult for Kenyans just now. What does all this mean? What is happening? Is Raila Odinga reinventing himself? And if so, for what? What is the plan? What is Agwambo up to, really? That is what my show today is all about. It is the question on most minds in Kenya right now. It is the question that political analysts in our country are trying to tackle. And so far, it is still all confusion. People are puzzled. What is going on? Stick with me, and at least you'll get some clarity. I don't claim to have all the answers, but at the very least, we should get clarity by the end of the show today. And we'll be able to know and get an idea of where all this is going. Yeah, because that is the 1 million Kenya shilling question. Now, if you're already enjoying this video, please remember to give me a like. That will really help me on this channel that you love. Yeah, because it will increase the reach of this particular video so that more Kenyans take it in. You know, it is impossible to read Kenyan politics. It is impossible to even guess what's going to happen next or in the near future without understanding the politics of Raila Amolo Odinga, who for decades has been the major driving force in our politics. There's no debate on that. And therefore, if you stick with me till the end, I will introduce you to a very special Raila Odinga documentary, giving you the inside secrets of how this man operates. Okay? Well worth your time, I assure you. Yeah, and of course, it will also help to bring a lot more clarity, because a lot of younger Kenyans have no idea who Raila Odinga is. They have no idea what this man is capable of. So stick with me and I'll point you to that documentary right here on YouTube. And for those interested in business, maybe you need to start a business because employment opportunities have vanished, very few, and people need to put food on the table. Or even if you're already a businessman and your business is not doing too well just now, in fact you're struggling to survive, I have a real treat for you. A gift, if you like, because I have a very detailed documentary or collection of videos with amazing ideas, practical ones, that will help you along and change everything for you, for sure. Okay? And this particular documentary has been valued at about 5,000 Kenya shillings. However, I'm giving it away free, bila malipo. Okay? Stick around and I'll tell you a little more about that. And finally, please take advantage before it expires of my special offer on my weekly intelligence briefings. Amazing offer where you can get 6 months subscription, which will also enable you to access all my past WIBs up to the present one. Yeah, and also an amazing price for life membership to my weekly intelligence briefings. You can see details on your screens right now. Highly sensitive information that will help you understand Kenyan politics better. Information that I can never dare carry on this public channel. This deal also includes life membership to my weekly intelligence briefings at a price you will never believe. Only 2,999 Kenya shillings. And current members, I encourage you to take full advantage of this offer so that you never need to worry again about your WIB subscription. Because where we're going, there'll be a lot of this sensitive information we cannot ever share on this public channel. Yeah, that will always keep you ahead of what is happening and what is about to happen on Kenyan politics. Karibu sana. Let's get down to business. Twende kazi. To understand anything in life, what do? You look for a pattern. After the 2013 presidential elections, which swept the Jubilee Party to power, the Uhuru Ruto Jubilee government, Raila Odinga, after losing the presidential petition at the Supreme Court, left the country for the US. He spent months in the US, recharging, recovering. You know, that was a very painful moment for Raila Odinga, because he had won the earlier presidential elections of 2007 by a landslide. Yeah, but then what happened? We got the Grand Coalition government, and the loser of those elections, President Emilio Stanley Mwai Kibaki, remained president, and Raila ended up as a toothless prime minister. And everybody assumed that after Kibaki leaves power in 2012, Raila will be the next president. But that is what happened in 2013. Uhuru and Ruto took over. And thus it was not surprising that most political analysts in 2013 started writing the political obituary of Raila Amolo Odinga. But Raila reinvented himself, and he came back with the Okoa Kenya initiative, which kept the government of Uhuru and Ruto on its toes. There are many who believe that that period of Kenyan history witnessed the most massive looting of government coffers, public coffers. But many also believe it would have been worse. Now, I know it's very hard to imagine a worse scenario than what we witnessed. But many believe it would have been worse had it not been for the presence of Raila Amolo Odinga and his Okoa Kenya initiative. Let's jump to 2017. After Raila Odinga filed a successful petition at the Supreme Court, which cancelled, annulled the election of President Uhuru Kenyatta as president, some supporters of Raila Odinga said to themselves, this is it. Raila is now going to be president. But it was not to be, because Raila did not participate in the rerun of the presidential election, predicting quite rightly that what had happened earlier would just repeat itself. Therefore, there was no need. And there was so much tension in the country after those repeat elections. And everybody wrote off Raila Odinga. What can he do now? He's finished. Even if he swears himself in, nothing will happen. And indeed, Raila Odinga was sworn in as the people's president. And indeed, nothing happened. And this time round, analysts came back more confident. This is the end of Raila Odinga. There is no way out of this one. Yeah, there'll be trouble in Kenya, but Raila Odinga politically, kwisha maneno. And then on March 18th, on the stairs of Harambee House, something happened that blew the minds of Kenyans away. Indeed, to date, there are many who still don't understand precisely what happened when the handshake between Uhuru and Raila took place. Very few political analysts have sat down to analyze the positive impact of that handshake and what it brought to Kenya and our politics that has never been there before. Not even under the Grand Coalition government. We had a situation where President Uhuru Kenyatta became the most popular politician in Luo Nyanza. Many of you will remember the kind of welcome Uhuru would receive in Kisumu. No president in the history of Kenya has received that kind of warm welcome in Kisumu. Never ever. And let's not even dare try to go to that place called a Kikuyu president. Let's not even go there. A Kikuyu president in Nyanza. Indeed, if President Uhuru Kenyatta had decided to vie for governor of Kisumu, he would have won by a landslide. Indeed, the former president is still very popular in Nyanza, which brings tears to my eyes, especially when I saw the son of Jomo Kenyatta mingle freely with wananchi at a place called Kondele on the outskirts of Kisumu, a place full of tragic history, the same place where his father, the first president of the Republic of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, rained havoc on the poor people of Kondele on October 25th, 1969. It just brought tears to my eyes to see the son of that man being so warmly welcomed to Kondele, being so popular at Kondele. But now we're in the year 2022. We know what happened over the recently concluded presidential elections. And because Kenyans hate history, and because our analysts brush off history, not interesting, not interested, not relevant, we have some analysts once again writing the political obituary over Gwambo. Are you guys serious? Yani you can't see. Now, recent developments for those who wanted to write off Raila Odinga are very instructive. And as usual, Raila Odinga did not appear where people were waiting for him. His political opponents. Because after the presidential elections and after what happened, people were expecting trouble. The 2017 Manenos in Kondele and in Kibra and in most parts of Kenya, people were expecting matata, including the intelligence community of the US government, with their advisories that told us very clearly they knew results before the rest of us. They knew the results of the presidential elections that Wafula Chebukati, the IEBC chairman, was going to announce before Chebukati announced them. They knew the ruling of the Supreme Court of Kenya on the presidential petition before Chief Justice Martha Koome announced and proclaimed the decision of the highest court in Kenya. They knew. I would like to inform you that elaborate plans had been put in place to deal with the inevitable troubles most people expected in Kondele, in Kibra, and anywhere in Kenya where it may happen. Any Kenyan working in the security sector, in the police, etc., were told nobody would take leave until after the election Manenos. Doctors, nurses, anybody who worked in our hospitals was given instructions. Nobody is going on leave. That leave cancelled until after the elections. Why? Because people were expecting something to happen. People were waiting for the supporters of Raila Odinga. And they waited. And they waited. And they're still waiting. Agwambo did not appear there. For decades, on Jivanji Gardens, in the CBD of Nairobi, we have had what we call Bunge la Wananchi. For any Kenyan who has had the opportunity of attending any of these sessions, you will agree with me that the debates here are much more productive, much more mature than the debates we have in our actual parliament with elected members. And so what happens? About 2 days ago, Raila Odinga attends a session of the Bunge la Wananchi at Jivanji Gardens. The most powerful, influential politician in Kenya attends a session at the humble Jivanji Gardens, the People's Parliament. And he sits down and keenly listens to debate. He did not go there to address the House. No. The way a president traditionally does. And indeed the way President Ruto did a few days ago. No. He walked in just like an ordinary Kenyan and sat down and listened for almost an hour. What? What is Raila up to? But even before Kenyans can analyze that, or even recover from it, this unprecedented move, we hear that Raila is rubbing shoulders with border riders and helping them to buy fuel, because despite the promises, the careless whispers of the UDA and President Ruto campaign that fuel prices would go down immediately Uhuru left the presidency, that has not happened. In fact, one of the first things President Ruto did was to remove the fuel subsidy that kept fuel prices low and cushioned vulnerable Kenyans to high fuel prices. We were told by the UDA government that these subsidies of Uhuru and Raila were not sustainable. To me, that did not sound like Ruto speaking. No. That sounded like the main advisor in matters economics of this government, a very well-known Kenyan, we all know, called Dr. David Ndii. So, what is Raila up to? What is he up to this time? Because we know from the past that whatever Raila does, whatever move he makes, will have an impact. Oh, you can be sure about that. Hakuna debate hapo. I'm sorry. Yeah. You know, the people who just like to argue. Yeah. But just look at the history of this man. Whatever he starts doing, whatever direction he wants to move, you can be sure there'll be an impact. Upende, usipende. In my opinion, what Raila is doing is going back to the core of his political power, which is simply the people, ordinary Kenyans. The people's president is actually precisely where he should be, but where he was least expected to be. And you can be sure that the impact is going to be felt. Indeed, is already being felt. You see, whether you want to turn a blind eye to it or not, the truth is, we have millions of Kenyans who are very injured, very angry at what unfolded in our recent presidential elections. And these Kenyans are just fed up. Indeed, it is only a matter of time before we see a response, spontaneous, from the hearts of the people of Kenya who have just had enough, more than enough. And Raila Odinga, in my opinion, is just positioning himself to be in that group, yeah, of millions of Kenyans responding to what has been thrown to them. And that response, wait for it. You can be sure it's coming. Now here's the super fascinating thing. Had Raila opted to stay out of it, you can be sure that that response was going to be very bad for the country. Most probably violent in nature. However, with Raila bang in the middle of it and guiding things and leading it and showing leadership, then we can expect a much more palatable, a much more acceptable response that will bring change to Kenya. You see, history teaches us you cannot stop the people, and you cannot stop an idea whose time has come. Of course, I'll keep you updated on developments, which any time from now should start unfolding furiously, rapidly, without warning. Until next time, this is Kshs. Kumekucha.